At Five Star Bank, community is at the heart of what we do. Every day we strive to have thoughtful solutions for our customers and help our communities prosper. Honest dialogue about the issues affecting the region is vitally important to that prosperity. We are proud to be part of the conversation and hope you'll join in.
Since 2009, when he was appointed to lead the Sacramento City Unified School District, Jonathan Raymond has been described as a general who led from the front lines and not from behind his troops. Always passionate and opinionated, Raymond's tenure has been one of change and experimentation amid severe budget challenges and an evolving student population. Fans and critics are equally passionate, but the one thing they seem to agree on is that Sacramento has never had a superintendent quite like him before. Superintendent Raymond is stepping down to return to his native Boston. He joins us to share his insights on education in Sacramento and his thoughts on the future. This is his exit interview. Mr. Raymond.
Good morning, Scott.
You only have a few days left. What's going through your mind?
A lot of reflection and honestly, a lot of mixed emotions. It's hard to leave, and it's hard to leave Sacramento, a city and town that I've grown to love, that's really embraced my family and my children, a place where my children have come of age and are doing great in school. It's an organization that we've gotten moving and doing really good things for kids, and we're a lot better off than we were 4.5 years ago when I started on that hot August afternoon. And you know, I'm going to miss the kids. You know, my 43,000 kids that I've grown to love and to care for and to wake up every day and to be fighting for. I'm going to miss that.
Now, you're going to Boston. What's next?
Well, first of all, nobody moves to Boston in December.
Yeah, it is a rare thing.
Unless it's real important. And, you know, for my family who have embraced my dream to be a school superintendent and have followed me around the country for 7+ years, it's a chance for them to get home and to get their roots back with family. Mm-hmm. My kids' grandparents are there, and uncles and aunts and cousins, and so that's what's next.
Mm-hmm. When you arrived here, was there one experience or one child that you met that kind of encapsulates that this is why I'm here?
You know, my very first day as superintendent, I ended it on a home visit through our parent-teacher home visit project. And the family we went to visit, the Castro family, was quite a remarkable experience for me. She said, you know, as we came into her house, very humble but very neat, and they brought out their best china, food, fruit. She said, you know, sometimes if Muhammad is late to school, it isn't because I don't care or I don't want him to be on time. It's just because I have cancer and I'm going through something very personal, and it's sometimes difficult for me to get him and his brothers and sisters up. So, you know, what it made me realize, I think, that from that moment on, at least it's planted the seed that so much of our work is about relationships and about connections, individual between teacher and student and parent.
And one of the things that sometimes we all forget about as we look at statistics and numbers is that behind all those numbers are neighborhoods and families and kids as human beings. How were you able to bring that level of personal interaction into the big decisions that you had to make? Mm.
Every day when I would wake up, I would remember a few words that an expecting mother told me again in my first week as superintendent. And I went around the table at this small dinner that the community had organized for me, and I asked them what they would do if they were in my shoes. And she just said, "Superintendent, take risks for kids. Take risks for kids." So I think that entered into our decision making at all aspects. You know, we always at the end of the day wanted to have our decisions be about children, about all children, and that if we weren't sure, we were going to err on the side of taking a risk. And I think that true north has really helped to set us apart.
That reminds me, one thing that I heard that is a fairly well-known quote of yours is that you had the perspective, and please tell me if this is wrong, that you operate from a perspective that too many decisions around schools are made for adults and not enough for kids. Is that one of your lines?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I think that again, that perspective is there's a lot of champions and advocates for adults in public education, but few for children. And
really,
certainly, that's the job of a superintendent. Not that we don't need to look out for all of the faculty and staff and the adults that work in a school system, our principals, our custodians, bus drivers, but they all have other champions. But the true champion for children, that's us.
And you mentioned a few minutes ago about taking risks. The newspapers, all of those advocates for the adults and all that, everything is about the measurement and the number. Is risk-taking really something that is encouraged in public education?
I think that playing it safe has been more of the norm. And let's face it. It's risky to stick your neck out there. There's a lot of disincentives. The status quo is the status quo. I think it's long been what has plagued public education, particularly low expectations.
Well, it's interesting that you mention that, because you've been criticized in lots of different quarters. You've been praised a lot as well. But one of the fascinating things that I'd love to get your reaction to is, on one hand, there have been some from the higher wealth schools that academically have performed well in the more middle-class neighborhoods who've said, Superintendent Raymond needs to be the superintendent for all kids, not just poor kids, and that he's discriminating against us. On the other hand, you've had to make some very painful decisions on school closures in what have been predominantly, in many cases, poor and minority neighborhoods, for which some of the residents and parents have said, he's discriminating against us because we're underserved neighborhoods without a lot of political clout. And, it kind of raises a question, which is, well, both can't be right.
No, I don't think either side is correct. And if you look at what we've accomplished and what we've done in this school district, from expanding and replicating really successful programs, building on our gifted and talented, creating an international baccalaureate pathway now, K-12, passing 2 school bonds that are going to help to really bring our schools up to the 21st century, particularly in regards to technology. And our Superintendent Priority School initiative, which went after the 7 predominantly high 100% poverty, majority minority schools in the most neglected neighborhoods.
Tell us a little bit about that. What are those schools exactly?
Well, Oak Ridge Elementary, Fern Bacon, originally Jedediah Smith, now Leotata Floyd, Hiram Johnson, Wilsey Wood, Fern Bacon, Rosa Parks. These were schools that were performing by all measures at the bottom of our school district, low throughout the state of California. But more importantly, when you visited these schools, these weren't exciting places to want to be a student, to want to be an adult working in those schools. I mean, even the physical condition of those schools, in my opinion, was despicable. They had been neglected and they had been overlooked. And our thinking was that even though times were extraordinarily tough in California, we needed to do something bold. We needed to do something radical. We needed to show our community, we needed to show the state and even the nation, what can happen when people come together around an idea.
So what are the results?
Well, 6 of the 7 schools have done extraordinarily by all performance measures. Academic achievement. Father Keith B. Kenny, for instance, started at 630 for their API, which is one large measurement in California. The bellwether mark is over 800. They're at 813.
And this is at school in Oak Park?
That school in Oak Park on Martin Luther King Boulevard. And the fascinating thing that people don't realize is some of the best performing schools in Sacramento County now are in Oak Park.
Really?
Both district schools and charter schools. It's an extraordinary what the community has to choose from, and that often gets overlooked. Oak Park, seen as the poorest, most neglected neighborhood in Sacramento, now has some of the best schools.
Drill down for 1 second though. Keith B. Kenny, give us some of the socioeconomic characteristics of the school.
It's 100% poverty.
100% poverty. How many kids get school lunch there?
All of them.
Really?
Right down the road, Oak Ridge Elementary.
And they're exceeding the state's sort of objective on their performance scores?
They've grown 183 points in the last 3+ years.
What's the secret to that success? Just very shortly, what 2 or 3 things?
Great leadership, outstanding principal, dedicated, committed, hard-working staff, faculty and staff that want to be great. They invest in greatness every day, and they're completely committed to children.
All right. When you survey the district, or any district that you've been to before, what's the rubber meets the road fundamental question as to whether or not a school is performing at the standard it should?
Well,
personally,
are we willing to do everything it takes for children? Are we going to put their interests ahead of everyone else's interest and do whatever it takes every day?
But as a consumer, as a parent, as a consumer, what should be our question?
Are you expecting the most from my child every day? Are you going to push my kid? Are you going to love my kid? Right, love them, but push them, because you know what? I don't keep my best child at home. I'm giving you the very best, so give them the best. Give them everything you got.
I've heard a line which I want to get your reaction to, is that a parent looking at whether or not their local school is where it should be should really ask themselves the question, if I just moved into this neighborhood today, would I want to send my kid to that school?
Absolutely, it's a fair question. And you got to go visit that school. You got to walk onto that campus. I mean, campuses have a look, they have a feel, they have a smell, the sounds. I mean, it's extraordinary. I have the privilege of visiting every one of our schools and every one of our classrooms, and they are very different. And parents need to be active. And for many of our parents, though, that's not their culture from the countries that they have come from. So we need to make our schools engaging. We need to make them welcoming. They need to be places where parents are not only welcomed, but they can be deeply engaged and empowered to be part of their children's learning.
And in terms of the programs that you put into place and the innovations that you've partnered with others on, typically, what is the role of the teachers union in working as a partner or working as an adversary? Have they been more supportive of improvement or not?
Look, I think we've had our disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair to say. I think it started when I came to the district. I mean, simply through the fellowship program that I attended. So, our relationship, I don't think ever got off on a good foot.
Excuse me, I'm not aware of that. What fellowship program? What's that relationship to?
Through the
this
Broad
subject.
Through the Broad Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I was trained to be an urban superintendent. I didn't come up the traditional path as a career educator through the classroom, as a principal, as a district administrator. That's the traditional way.
And your background was?
So I've come up international relations. I've worked I was running a nonprofit. I've been involved in public service for the majority of my life. I'm often criticized about being a private sector, one of these corporate takeover kinds. I even think it's kind of amusing that people in the education field, don't do their homework, even when it comes to their superintendent.
Well, one of the criticisms that is often heard is that there are a lot of these programs that are bringing in non-trained, at least through the traditional route, folks into public education, and that it is actually harming schools. And the couple of just examples off the top of my head are things like Teach for America, which I've heard criticisms is displacing, bringing these young people in school is displacing well-trained teachers and actually degrading the fabric of the local education system. What's your reaction to that?
I don't mean to chuckle, but look, I mean, It's one thing if our country and the schools within our country were performing at the top of the world. I mean, we just saw from the program on international assessments or PISA that our country over the last 10 years hasn't gained any ground. In fact, we've lost ground to countries such as Vietnam, and that certain places within our own country, like my hometown of Massachusetts, if they were a separate country, they'd be in the top 10 in many of these categories. The fact is, Scott, that we're not doing a good job. We have to be honest about that. And so trying the same old approaches, it's the same old traditional pathways for educators to run school systems, the same way we're training and credentialing our teachers. If we don't start changing things, and if we don't do it, in my view, radically, our country is going to slip further and further and further behind. And yet, every day, we have hundreds of thousands of children showing up to school. Parents giving us, as I said, their very best, most precious assets, expecting them to be educated for career, college, and life. And we just haven't been doing that. So with all due respect, to my critics, show me where it's working, and you know what, okay, but until we get to that place, we need to be trying as many different approaches and replicating successes. And that's been my approach. Look and see what's working. I just bring different eyes and a different perspective.
So again, I ask the question, teachers' unions, impediment or asset to making those changes?
I think when you go issue by issue, they've been impediments, and we're trying to find ways to work with them. But we need to go and look at the issues issue by issue by issue. Seniority-based layoffs. I mean, the fact that you may have been hired 2 weeks before me, Scott, and you get to keep your job, and I don't, without regard to anything such as performance, such as attitude, such as ability to continue to learn, to work with your fellow colleagues. All those things need and should be considered, not just when you're starting.
Well, let me give you the counterpoint. Last weekend, I happened to have dinner with a 5th grade school teacher who was telling me what life was like for her in her classroom. And she said, I have kids migrate in and migrate out. I have one child who, in this school year alone, has been to 10 different schools. We are the 10th school. I'm his 10th teacher, just so far this calendar year. Many languages, children being raised not only by single parents, but sometimes single grandparents, because both parents are gone or not in the picture at all. And with all of these social issues sort of afflicting these kids, her comment was, we're working. I love what I do, but I'm exhausted. What do you say to that teacher who is a part of those unions?
Right. Well, I mean, no question that our teachers, the vast majority of them, work tirelessly, and they work really, really hard. And our job is to give them as much support as we can. But they also need to know that they got to work collaboratively. They have to work together. They need to contribute toward their own continuous lifelong learning. And that's what we're here to try to help and support them and to work with them on. No question that class sizes are at their all-time highs, not only in our school district but around California. And that plays into it to a certain degree. And our
class sizes?
Class sizes to a certain degree, I think, at certain grade levels. But I will say that there's no question that our school districts and urban school districts in general, particularly with high poverty minority children, face different challenges and face more extreme challenges.
Well, you mentioned the thing about class sizes. Now, interestingly enough, the theorist Malcolm Gladwell, who's written all of these business books, over the past decade or so, came out with a new one called David and Goliath. And in that book, he actually does a section on class sizes, and that the sort of conventional wisdom is reducing class sizes is a universal good. But that actually on the studies that have been done there, I guess around 250 around the world, that after a certain point, it's a law of diminishing returns, and that is not a panacea all by itself.
Right. No, I totally agree. I will say, though, at different grade levels, the size does matter. What's more important is whether or not there's an effective teacher in that classroom. And that's where I think we have to start to go, which is, how do we best measure effectiveness? And a lot of research has just come out that shows that, disadvantaged children don't have as much access to effective teachers.
Right.
And that's why programs such as Teach for America, are so important, because they get extraordinarily talented, bright, smart young people. Now I understand, that they are new beginning teachers, but these young people want to go work in these most disadvantaged schools. They want to provide the best education possible. Not that other teachers don't, but that issue around effectiveness is one that we've got to really start.
Let's talk about workforce development and the business community for a moment. Part of the continuum is that your kids graduate so that way they can take their place in the workforces of the future, go on to college, all that, and live happy, productive lives. But I have to tell you, and I wanted to get your reaction to this, in some of the conversations, in many of the conversations that take place from a regional perspective, the business community likes to focus on higher ed, not K through 12. Now, there are exceptions to that. But do you think that K through 12 schools, not just Sac City Unified, but within this region, get the support from the business community that talks all the time about the educated workforce it needs, that they're putting in the time and the effort to help superintendents like yourself get the job done? Okay,
so I would say no, and that's changing. When I first came to Sacramento, and one of the things I asked Mayor Kevin Johnson, where's the business community? Why aren't they more engaged in our schools? And he kind of chuckled and he laughed. He said, you got to give them a reason to. And part of what our focus around priority schools was to do something so bold and so transformative, and to create these schools of innovation that would catch people's attention. And fast forward now, we have City Year, right? It's a near peer mentoring program. Happened to be founded 25 years ago in my hometown of Boston, but it brings young people, often young people who have grown up in that community, back for a year of service. They do before school, during school, after school, they're on weekends. You see them throughout our community. They wear yellow jackets.
Right, no, and I've seen them, and just
That's
incidentally,
right.
I have to give a commercial or a disclaimer, which is that I one time sat on the board of City Year. So.
Okay. So, my point is that those teams, which we have 55 core members in our priority schools right now, 5 of our priority schools, they're supported by corporate sponsors.
But what do you say when these conversations take place and we talk about building, for instance, the initiative today is called Next Economy, and we're going to do all these great industries and create these clusters of activity, and all we talk about, at least there was a point, it's changed now and it's gotten better, right. But in the beginning it was talking about importing people from the Bay Area and from Portland and from Seattle, and it didn't focus very much, and thankfully it has changed, on growing our own kids in these neighborhoods.
Right.
Give us a message for the business community and the political leadership on what we need to do to connect the kids in the neighborhoods you serve to the jobs that we are all working so hard to create.
Well, I want to give kudos to John DeStasio at SMUD and Senator Dale Steinberg. I mean, they get it, and in fact we've created partnerships. The work through career academies and pathways, which is really preparing our kids. We call it linked learning here in California, but it's preparing our kids to not only be successful in school, it's giving them the career technical education competencies. They get work-based learning opportunities, but it's bringing these partnerships together. We've created our own partnership between energy, science, and engineering with SMUD, operating at 2 of our high schools right now. So they get it. They get it for their own purposes, but they're also a community champion. And Senator Steinberg, through his work, has said that these are the kinds of programs we need to go to make school more relevant.
What achievement during your tenure are you most proud of?
No question, our priority school work, because what we've shown is that children, irrespective of their zip code, can learn to the highest levels, and we can do it in our own district. And that's what I think some of our critics never really, that we did it with our own teachers. We didn't close these schools. We didn't convert them to charter schools. We have our own teachers and our own principals that want to be great and excellent. And our kids are performing.
In our final moments, give this region a bit of advice on what we need to do to make sure that our results meet our expectations with regards to our kids.
Yeah, well,
a few moments.
We got to make public education our #1 priority. You know, we can argue about issues and, you know, we can disagree, but at the end of the day, you know, Sacramento needs to come together, you know, to create almost a social compact that says public education, it's the most important thing in our community, preparing our children, and no matter what it takes, we're going to do what it can, what we need to do to make our children succeed, because this is our #1 team. At the end of the day, that's what it has to be about. Not that I can opt out, or I can move to the suburbs, or I can put my kids in private school. You know, that can't be the excuse.
Well said, Superintendent Raymond. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Scott.
All right.
Best of luck to Sacramento.
And that's our show. Thanks to Jonathan Raymond, and thanks to you for watching. For Studio Sacramento, I'm Scott Syfax. See you next time right here on KVIE.
At Five Star Bank, community is at the heart of what we do. Every day we strive to have thoughtful solutions for our customers and help our communities prosper. Honest dialogue about the issues affecting the region is vitally important to that prosperity. We are proud to be part of the conversation and hope you'll join in.
All episodes of Studio Sacramento, along with other KVIE programs, are available to watch online at kvie.org/video.